Hello, and welcome to Reawakening the Primal Instinct, Episode 2. I hesitated to do this because my audio system is down on my main computer, so I'm going to go ahead and use my phone. I hope it turns out okay. I'm going to keep this fairly short today, and I just want you to know that this podcast and all associated websites is a FUD-free zone. Yes, this podcast is about hunting and fishing and the outdoors. However, we strongly support the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is not in place to guarantee our right to own a 270 bolt-action rifle with open sights for hunting deer. The Second Amendment is the ultimate solution to stopping tyranny. For that reason, this podcast, particularly me, the owner and the host of this podcast, we are strong supporters of the Second Amendment. I go so far as to believe the 1934 NFA, the 1968 NFA, the Hughes Amendment in 1986, and all other gun control acts should be repealed or should be overturned by the Supreme Court of the United States of America. So, while we will be discussing mostly hunting, fishing, and the great outdoors, there may be times that I need to have a discussion about guns. Now is that time. Our rights are under attack. Our rights are under attack from the left. Our rights are under attack from so-called conservatives. Our rights are under attack by a president who promised to be an advocate for our gun rights. When he got into office, he swore that the 8-year assault on our Second Amendment rights was over. It has just begun, and he is leading the way. When he walks out of a meeting with Dianne Feinstein about gun control, and she is smiling, something is wrong with this picture. I do not advocate violence. I do, however, advocate complete 100% peaceful non-compliance until peaceful is no longer an option. If they ban bump stocks and require you to turn them in, do not turn them in. If they ban so-called assault weapons, which they AR-15 and the AK-47 in their civilian variants are not, do not turn them in. If they come to get them, resist. That's all I've got to say on the subject. Some of you know that I do have a small business building custom AR-15 uppers for people. I've built pistol uppers. Whether people turn those into short barrel rifles without a tax stamp is their business, not mine. I tell them the law. I recommend that they follow the law. Anything under a 16-inch barrel requires to be either on a pistol lower with no fixed stock, or that you get a Form 1 SBR stamp and engrave it on the rifle. I've built custom long-range AR uppers with 22-inch barrels. I've built 308 uppers with 20-inch, 22, and 24-inch barrels. Most of what I build is your standard 16-inch barrel with a free float handguard and M-lock, either M-lock or key mod. I don't like quad rails very much, and so I don't bother to build them. I will continue to do so. I will continue to sell them to anyone who can lawfully own a rifle. At this point in time, that is 18 years old. If they change the law, I will follow the law and only sell them to people who are 21 and over. I don't like that, but I will. Now, what you may not understand, as a parent, you can give a gift to a child who is under legal age. You cannot take their money and buy it for them. You cannot buy it for them with the promise that they will pay you for it. You can, however, buy it as a gift. So, what you choose to do with that information is up to you. As I said, I will continue to say, this is a FUD-free zone. I do not support the NRA at this moment in time. I request that you join Gun Owners of America, National Association for Gun Rights, or the Second Amendment Foundation. If you do join the NRA, that's fine. They run great safety programs and training programs. Do not donate to the NRA, ILA, until Chris Cox, Wayne LaPierre, Marion Hammer, and several others are fired by the board. Don't vote for Ted Nugent. Don't vote for Karl Malone. Don't vote for Tom Selleck. I have nothing against these people. I happen to know Ted Nugent personally. I like him as a person. However, none of those three have attended a single meeting in the last 5 years. Why are they still on the board? They need to go. If you are a voting member of the NRA, I would encourage you to vote for Timothy Knight and Adam Kraut this year. And that is it. Do not vote for anyone else. Let's make sure that Timothy Knight is reelected and that Adam Kraut is elected to the board. The main reason that I want to see that happen is because it will tick Marion Hammer, Wayne LaPierre, and Chris Cox off, because they don't want you to vote for those two people. So, please go do that. Please go vote for those two. Don't vote for anyone else. Adam Kraut, Timothy Knight. If you're not a member of any gun organization, or you wish to join a second one or a third one, Gun Owners of America, National Association for Gun Rights, or the Second Amendment Foundation would be my three that I highly recommend. Thank you for listening to this short podcast. I'm hoping that I can get back on schedule with regular podcasts here in the next week or two. I've got a tech guy coming on Saturday to help me get everything set up. Having issues with my multi-channel input into the computer, not communicating correctly with the recording program that I use. So that's why I haven't got a podcast out in a while. Thank you for listening. I do have a Facebook page. You can go to that. It's Reawakening the Primal Instinct. I have a Twitter account, Reawakening the Primal Instinct. You can email me at reawakeningtheprimal@gmail.com. I'm also on Instagram. You can find me there. And I do have a Patreon set up. And I will begin putting that in the show notes with the next regular podcast, the link to that page. So I would love to have your participation in that. There will be some special gifts as part of that. Working on, I'll probably do a one extra podcast a week just for the Patreons. Maybe working with some sponsors and get some special discount codes that only the Patreons will get. I also would ask that you go visit my Facebook page for my AR-15 business, which is Garrison Tactical. Again, that's Garrison Tactical, and you can also email me garrisontactical@gmail.com, and we can discuss any kind of custom AR upper that you want to build. I don't currently have my FFL, so I cannot build a full rifle. However, I can build upper receivers, completed upper receivers all day long, and I'm working on getting set up with 224 Valkyrie. I've already got 22 Nosler, and 6.5 Grendel, 6.5 Creedmoor, 308, 300 Blackout, of course, 5.56, of course. Any of those I can get. Primarily use Aero Precisions for my builds. However, I also have some distribution with some other parts makers, so we can get those as well. Pretty much anything you want, I'll build it. I'll put it together for you. I guarantee it'll be done right. I test fire everything with my lower receiver, and make sure that everything's gas system's running properly and everything's working the way it's supposed to before I send it out. If you have it built with flip-up sights, I'll make sure that the flip-up sights are at least on paper before I get it to you. I also can get you set up with a scope if you want to add that, and I'll make sure that is sighted in, and so it's ready to rock and roll out of the box. All right, thank you, and I believe that's about all the time I have. We will talk to you next time, and I'm looking forward to, again, having something set up so that the audio is a little better, and I can have my intro music and outro music all set up for you, and I'll get some links for that in show notes for the next podcast as well. But I wanted to get this out real quick and let you all know what's going on and where I stand on the Second Amendment. Let there be no misunderstanding. I am 100% a proponent of the Second Amendment, and there is no but. Period.